G'day everyone, welcome back to Zero Access Footy, episode number 23. Of course, once again, featuring alongside Behm and Gaddy, who is all dressed up for a fantastic episode. He's feeling very good. He
On the top of the moon, baby.
He has recorded a previous podcast beforehand, but at the same time, I think he's going to be wearing this, I don't know. You got any big events this week?
I'm going to be riding this wave for about 30 years.
Just going to tell your kids, like, do you remember when?
This win rivals the 1966 flag.
That's a really sad thing to say.
It's a sad football club. What more is there to do?
But we've got a lot, of course, to talk about again today on both sides of the aisle, really. We're both in a little bit of, I guess, a storyline of our own as we get into an important clash.
It's two sides of the same story, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But we're getting to an important clash this week, which we will talk about once we get there. But let's have a look at round 20 overall. This was what looked to be a bad week at times, but then made up for it with some big moments, big storylines.
Shocking first 7 games.
Yeah, well, we'll start with Hawks Blues because this was a very nothing match outside of Sam Doherty in his final match, at least kicking a goal. Mm-hmm. But this went exactly the way I kind of saw it happening.
You had the Hawks by 55.
I did have them by a lot, and ended up being just the 24, but basically the same as the last time these guys played. In this case, Hawthorn smashed them in the first quarter, and Carlton just laid flat. A very professional win from Hawthorn. Yep. So there's not really too much to say other than it was a very nice goal that he kicked. And then the bow to the crowd, that was I love that. It's in the moment. That's taking it all in. That was really good. Yeah,
that was awesome. It wasn't an impressive performance by Hawthorn by any means.
No.
They just held them at arm's length basically the entire game. I thought Carlton, they weren't good, but like had they kicked accurately in the last quarter and took their chances, I feel like they actually could have pushed them. And I mean, it's pretty much how I said it as well. Like I thought Hawks were going to win, but Blues could make it close late. They very well could have had they not missed their chances. But again, it's the same story for Carlton the entire year pretty much.
Yep, exactly right. Essendon versus the Dogs, another bit of a nothing game. I think this is very close to the exact same margin as last time these guys played.
2 points off. They won by 91 last time.
Yeah, it was very close to this. But this one was more excusable for the sake that they just so beat up the Bombers. Yeah. There's not much you can really say.
You can't say anything about the Dogs either because, to be honest, this is just what we expected them to do. I had them winning by 103.
This is what they do.
Yep. They beat up on the dog shit teams and...
Great for percentage, not great for finals time.
Correct. They've got a good test this week, though, which will be very exciting on the Thursday night.
They got to pass it, but we'll find that out in a sec. Just the other notable thing before we move to the next one, Norton 7, Darcy 6. It's just become more and more clear that Norton is much better of a player when he's not the main option. When he's the main option, we've seen his struggles. Now, with Darcy sucking all the attention... he's playing his best football.
Again, I want to see it this week when he's coming up against the Giants defense because Essendon don't have a single key defender.
Yep. GWS and Sydney now. This one, it was like it swung both ways of boring. It started off Sydney, massive halftime lead, 35 points.
Yeah. Honestly, they should have been out by 3 or 4 goals more.
Yeah, the tsunami from GWS just wasn't hitting. Very, very, it was 50-15. And this was with Hayden McLean going down in the first 30 seconds of the game in a very scary accidental knock. So it was peak GWS, realistically, this game. And then the massive turnaround in the third quarter, which was probably the story of the round until Sunday. This was a game that defines GWS's year. The way they do things. They are such a momentum team.
And that's why I don't see them being genuine contenders, because that first half, a better team will put them away by 10 goals. But again, this is why they could potentially push a team like or Collingwood or like a Brisbane, because when they're on, they are a top 2 team. Like, that was unstoppable.
Yep.
And the way they play is they get numbers back and then they just launch and they use their numbers. They create space in the forward 50 and then just allow their talent to operate.
Yep.
Cadman, Hogan, Green, now Stringer, who's been in great form in the last few weeks. They hadn't been a good clearance team up until recently, but they're still unable to get that going forward. And so when you get everyone back, because the opposition will win the ball, their defense holds up so well that by the time everyone gets back, they've already won the ball and they just slingshot.
Yeah.
And when there's so many numbers, Callahan running through there, Bedford, Daniels when he's fit, Green, it's unstoppable.
It's why their inside 50 efficiency has been so good all year. But then it also slingshots back. Sydney's was quite poor, and that's a tough way to go about playing a team like GWS when they are so efficient when they go inside 50.
Yeah.
You're just fighting with one arm behind your back if you're kicking inside 50 is bad. But that's also mentioning the fact that, they lost one of their forward targets very early, they've been lacking them all year.
You could just say they ran out of steam. They just couldn't hold up.
And then the last thing for this one, how is this not a standalone game? Why was this paired 30 minutes after the Dogs Essendon game?
For whatever reason, the AFL just don't want to do it. I've got my conspiracy for it, though, which we will talk about very shortly.
Behm loves a conspiracy theory.
I do.
Then the second big clash of this one, the very next game we had after the Friday night, I'd say catastrophe, is the Q clash, the second big fight that we had during this one.
Yeah.
With the Suns handily defeating the Lions.
Who are they? I don't know.
Are you talking about the Suns or Brisbane?
No, the Suns. I know who Brisbane are. Brisbane, there was just a wake-up call, I suppose.
I was going to ask if wet weather is their biggest foe.
Probably is. I remember that Geelong game a few years ago where they just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, but then talking recently, their game against the Dogs.
Yeah, that too.
But they played well that game. Maybe enough. I don't know.
The game against Adelaide was wet and they should have won that. How did Gold Coast do when they did last week and then do this?
It's just there's sides this year that you always have to double check your tip or double check your predictions because it's like, what if this person doesn't show up? Or what if their game plan just... the reason they lost last week, not this round, but the previous round 19, they stopped their usual game plan. They love to attack right down the middle of the ground.
Yep.
They did not do that a single bit against Adelaide.
And that's
they
how
got
you
pumped
get past
for
Adelaide.
It. And exactly. They got pumped for it. When you isolate them one-on-one, right, there's players that can do it, but stats have shown that Mark Keane and I think it's Josh Worrell. I'm not too sure. There's others.
They're the top two interceptors.
There you go. They're good defenders. And it's something I want to highlight sometime soon and go more in depth in. But yeah, Gold Coast didn't do that. And now they do this. This is the epitome of their game. Putting it right down the throat of the field and hitting up your targets for easy goals. Farah had a fantastic game. I think he was very underrated, that one.
When we talk about what Ben Long was doing in the first half of the year and what Pat Voss did for Fremantle in terms of the energy, that's what he could be for this team because he's just that gritty player. I think something really important as well is what Nick Holman does as well. He's similar to that, where he's just an energy player. You don't want to match up on him because he'll fucking knock you out.
Yeah. Uh-oh. It's always your side, isn't it?
I'll shut up. Something that people are going to talk about, though, this year with this Gold Coast team, specifically on this weekend, was Sam Collins came back.
True.
And they'd played all throughout the year with just the two key defenders in Collins and Andrew because Ballard had got injured in round 2 or something, tore his ACL. They played Oscar Adams as well, who was a mid-season pickup, former Saint, so I know him pretty well. He'd also played this weekend, so that was the 3 key tools, which is much more what they did with Andrew, Collins and Ballard. Worked a lot better. It allowed Euland to sort of be more free. And because Brisbane's still persisting with the 2 rucks, they also have Morris and Rayner, it allowed Euland to not play on Morris and allowed Euland to play on Rayner, and that was a much better matchup. And I think that's something that could potentially look forward. Adams is not going to win you a premiership. That's what Ballard's going to do. But he's a player that's just going to fit a role and allows Andrew to be more of that interceptor rather than need to play a lockdown role.
Yeah. Fremantle versus West Coast now, the Western Derby. And it went the way we expected. We were hoping for some fireworks with this for the occasion, realistically. But the theme with these big clashes of the week is that it just was never really competitive. West Coast had signs, but Harley Reid had 5 free kicks against in the first quarter. I think the first quarter, or at least the first half.
That's ridiculous.
He had a ridiculous amount of free kicks against, and he just couldn't get it going his way. It was just one of those.
Last week too. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah, but he had the 2 goals.
Yeah.
So he was effective with the ball, but would just have way too many moments that he'd mess it up himself. And the one thing I always point out, it's always one player who can have a good game each time, but it's never the same player 2 weeks in a row. We talked about Tom McCarthy, how good he's been, and he's kind of middled out. I think he's still very effective and a fantastic mid-season pickup for them, but nowhere near the 30 posse per game that we were seeing to start. Harley Reid, 2 goals. You could say maybe he was effective with the ball, but then, like I said,
Neutered it out, basically.
yeah, he cancelled it out with his play. But on the Fremantle side of things, Hayden Young unlocks so much for this team. He makes them look so much more dangerous just with his delivery inside.
Yeah, we said it a few weeks ago when it was almost coming back that he could be the key to this team and their potential flag tilt this year. And it's still more so where he's going to play, because they can play him half back, they can play him midfield, they can play him half forward as they did the back end of last year. And it'll be interesting to see what they do go with, because he's damaging everywhere. I had the Dockers by 42, you had the Dockers by 80, so it's pretty much an expected result. And they just got it done. So nice.
Good on him.
I love this result. This next result is so funny because you
first,
have been on the 100-point smashings.
our first 100-point loss of the season. And of course it came at the game that I went to. I went to this game.
How many North games a year do you go to?
Well, like, I don't go to many. I'd love to, but I just work during weekends. So
Not this weekend.
Yeah, no, I took some time. I realised I had the time to go to this one. I'm like, oh, awesome. Finish work at 4. Off I go. I'll go to a 7:35 game. I should not have gone to a 7:35 game. My key details, at halftime, I pulled a Willie Rioli Magic Wild card from the Marvel Superstore. That was pretty cool. Meat pies were $2.50.
Really?
Yep. For
only
25,
like $6.
25-year Marvel celebration. They did $2.50 meat pies before the first
I
siren.
didn't fucking know that.
Yep.
I was at Marvel on Sunday.
It was before the game started. So they wouldn't have talked about it during the game. Unlucky. I know you would have loved that, wouldn't you?
I had my hot dog.
Tubby. Sorry, I just need to find ways to distract myself from this awful result.
Cancelled?
No, shut up. I know you're not saying that. Geelong, however, I want to move it to
payback.
I want to
Don't
move,
you worry.
I want to move to a bigger scale here, because with this game, we now look at a potential 100-goal season, whether it happens during the season or during the finals. Is
I've heard
something
a
we're kind
lot
of
of
looking at.
discourse about people saying if it's in the finals, it doesn't matter.
No, it does matter.
100% matters.
100%.
More people do it in the finals than they do in the regular season.
Yeah.
Lloyd did it twice in 01 and 02, I believe, and Fraser Garrick did it in 04.
Fraser Garrick was the one I was going to mention.
Literally cost us a fucking spot in the grand final.
Exactly what I was going to say.
And we would have beat Brisbane too.
Well, you didn't. Unlucky, lad. But he's sitting on 69 at the moment. Very nice. He's coming up against Port next.
Are you childish?
Then he comes up against Essendon. And then Sydney.
He could kick 15
And
against
then Richmond.
Essendon and Richmond.
if
he genuinely...
he's got another bag in him. He's got another bag in him. Absolutely within one of these games.
He'll kick 10 again.
It's going to happen at 100% for Richmond if they're winning by a lot. They will feed him. They will feed him.
If he can get to, let's say, 20 in the next 3 games in Essendon, Sydney and Port...
That's asking a lot.
Which is a lot. But again, Essendon, no key defenders. Port are not playing very good right now. Sydney's season is done. Could kick 7 in 2 of those games. He just needs 6 in the other. That leaves him for 11 in that Richmond game. I think that's at the MCG as well in round 24.
Oh my God! Could you imagine?
Could go nuts.
If he's in range,
surely
if
we
he's
go
within
to that
10,
game.
we're going to that game. 100%.
Bro, we'd fucking... Oh my God.
It would be a very, very good game to go to, because I had counted that whole thing out, but this game against North has brought it back into the picture. So that's the only exciting thing out of this game, and the only thing worth talking about. Don't talk about anything else other than the fact that apparently North Melbourne's key target is 5'2". Adelaide versus Port Adelaide. I love you, Zach Bench. I'm sorry, mate, but bloody hell. Showdown dominance is not something we see very often.
Nope. I was expecting something like this, though. Not to this extent, but I was expecting something like this.
Yeah, I really hoped it didn't happen, but it makes you feel like they're the real deal, because usually dominance like this doesn't happen unless they are, or unless one of the teams are. And even then, we love the showdown because of how competitive they usually are. But Port, a very, very poor showing in Hinkley's final match up in the showdown. So
Yeah.
they can't punt the season away. That's the big problem because Gold Coast gets the glory of that. So what do you do if you're Port?
No idea. Try get NAS.
Yeah, do you genuinely mean that?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. It's unfortunate when a showdown doesn't have much to talk about. I wish there was more to talk about it. But Richmond Collingwood, only a 36-point loss. Lots of positives for Richmond. Although Dacos absolutely feasted, as he does when he doesn't have a tag, 43, 3 goals. Like I think it was 43 disposals and 3 goals. So a massive, massive weekend from him.
Yeah.
But you kind of expected it against a team like this. There was others here and there that did well. But for the most part, Richmond found ways to hold their own. Their skills, week on week, they're still not good, but they're getting better. They're doing a few things. They still are in the habit of just going long when things aren't going their way, as young teams who don't have the talent often will do. You just try and cancel it out while gaining distance. But one that I am really starting to get a fondness of at the moment is Maurice Rioli. He's looking more and more like a player who could become an absolutely barn burner of a player who can just tear games apart with his excitement, his speed. Probably like a Cyril or a Tipper type player.
He's
who's
a
just
point of difference.
Yes, that's it, 100%. There's still so many things that he does that you're like, wish he'd done things different. But it's the heart that he gives, and it's something I've always brought on Richmond. They are gritty all year. I've said it. They're gritty, and they don't put any game away, apart from maybe 1 or 2 now so far this season. But Morris is the definition of that. So big credit to him. I think he's getting better and better. And I really like that for him. I think he's struggled to find a spot in this team now. And with the kind of rebuild that they're doing, he's now making his mark on this team. And I think he's going to be in their plans for the future, which is good for him.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, again, just you need something for excitement out of each of these Richmond games, and you're getting that. What is excitement, though, is this Saints game, this last quarter.
I'm going to shut up.
We'll talk about Melbourne first, which you can talk about.
Yeah, I'll talk about Melbourne. I'll talk about Melbourne.
What the actual fuck?
So, 3 quarters, handling them very well.
Oh, easily. Like
this was looking real. Bailey Fritsch had a really great start, getting better and better.
I was fucking out of my mind in that first quarter. He had 5 marks out the back inside 50.
Yeah.
In the first quarter alone.
Who was his immediate opponent?
Stocker was for the most part.
Yeah.
And he just was letting him get 3 meters out the back in every single
It was
play.
a very, very rough start for them.
God.
Viney had himself a fantastic game.
Viney
Gorn,
was good.
he really did well against Rowan.
Dominating Marshall. I've been on Marshall's ass this year, and he didn't disappoint.
Yeah. Rivers, good game in the back, I believe he was. And Clary didn't do too bad either.
No, I think for the most part, those first 3 quarters, everyone performed for Melbourne. There was nothing standalone. I thought Trent Rivers was really impressive from the back. There was one who was providing a bit of energy. Judd McPhee did a good job on Higgins for the most part. He kicked 4 in the end, but I thought for the most part of the game, Higgins was pretty quiet. And without May and without Lever, they defended the ground incredibly well. Like St Kilda could not move the ball whatsoever.
Yeah.
But then we get to the last quarter. I tipped a draw. I said this was going to be one of the worst games of all time. For St Kilda, it was.
Until it wasn't.
Look at that scoreline. It was 46 points in the first bout in the third quarter. We'll start the fourth quarter. Yeah. I'll put it this way. My cousin was in somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but it was like end of the first quarter. Should I come to the game? I don't know if I should. Decides to come. Gets there just at the start of the second half. By the end of the third quarter, we're both questioning, why the fuck are you here? Basically. And then as the quarter starts, I'm like, okay, there's 2 options. We can either perform really well, but not capitalize on our chances and kick 1 goal 9, or we will kick 4 goals really quickly and then not get anywhere near it for the rest of the game, and it'll just finish out 4-goal margin. We kicked the first 4 goals of the game, of the quarter, and I'm like, we're on.
It went the way of one of the disappointing spots, and you still had hope.
And so
that's very dangerous as a Saints fan.
For a St Kilda game, the crowd was involved.
Is that to say it was very quiet? The crowd went mild
because Zach Jones was playing. The crowd was yelling.
The crowd went mild.
So we were agitated because we were playing so shit. But like, if one thing went right in every play we went, we could have scored. But it was just that one little thing that kept happening that we just screwed up, right? And then we kicked the first goal. And we're like, yay, nice. Now I can start clapping. And then we kicked the second. I'm like, something's happening here. We're getting loud. And then we kicked another. And then we kicked another. And then we kicked another. I could name like 10 changes that Lion made in that last quarter that ended up in this result. But then we kicked another.
Jesus.
And then we kicked another. And Mason Wood turned it on. And then all of a sudden, Jack Higgins gets a 50-metre penalty. And now we're within 5 points. And then Melbourne...
Look how quick this goes.
Yeah.
You've got a third of the quarter left and you've brought it all the way back down to a goal.
So Jack Viney kicks it behind really early in the quarter. We kick a goal. We score a point, which was, I can't remember who, but it might have been, I can't remember who. Then Jake Melksham takes a really good mark, kicks a point from a missed set shot.
Classic.
And then Brad Hill kicks a fantastic goal from the boundary, dribbler.
After everything you've thrown at him.
Shush. And then from the centre bounce, Cooper Sharman kicks a left-footed snap. We're within 5 goals at that stage, 28 points. And then Clary Oliver misses a set shot. And then someone else misses, can't remember who. And then we kick 2 more goals. And I'm like, NAS time.
Yeah, you just knew it was coming?
Oh, yeah. It was happening. Him and Max Hall are my favourite players of all time right now. I've never watched a game where we finished a draw. I've never watched a game where we won after the siren.
I was going to say, well, you won.
Had I've got the draw correct, greatest prediction of all time. But we also won, so I don't care.
Yeah,
Naz
exactly.
is the best player in the AFL right now. Full-time midfield goals across both games. Best player in the AFL.
Oh, my God. I hate Saints fans' hope. You've just got out of the bottom 4. You just got out of the bottom 4.
You guys almost below Richmond. You
does-
guys are below Richmond.
I'm not talking about
You are below Richmond.
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you. I have nothing to do with this. I've understood that my hope is poor, right? I crashed out earlier in the season because for some reason you brought North Melbourne into a chat about St Kilda, right? And I'm like, why? Why? There's no point. The point is to talk about your team and the fact that, yes, NAS is good. Yeah, that was a good... I saw that one. The point isn't that North Melbourne are bad. We know that. The point is St Kilda are too. They've just got a little bit of hope now. They've just got a little bit of happiness in and amongst them. That's fine. We got that as well against Melbourne. We had our big last quarter against Melbourne as well that gave us hope. But you do come back to reality very quickly. And the reality is you're not in the bottom 4 now, which means your pick is back into the mid territory.
We play you guys this week. You guys are going to win.
No. I know exactly what your tip is. I heard it before. I heard your tip like an hour ago. 77?
Pause.
No. Don't do that. You're disgusting. You're a flog, you are. My
Thanks,
God.
mate. I love you too.
Oh, you're going to get Donkey of the Week at this rate.
Who is the Macca's man of the...
Yeah, we'll go into
Macca's.
Macca's Man of the Week. Dan.
Yeah,
You
it
can
was
see
the
there.
great. It was the greatest third quarter comeback of all time.
Yeah, lovely. So you get to see a little bit of that. North Melbourne
Yippee!
makes their way onto that as well.
1999,
Ooh.
2004.
Yeah,
Wait,
we're
when was
in there a
that
little bit.
game? 2004. Kangaroos versus Sydney 2004.
I don't even remember that. Against Sydney, that's a pretty decent result. Either way, don't want to get distracted with this. Let's go to Macca's Man of the Week. So, of course, the 3 votes. There's a lot of 3 voters this week. My 3 votes are a bit of a mess because producer Ethan wanted to change it around a bit. But he's clearly not happy with who I've put in some spots. But 1 vote goes to Nick Dacos. And he's got the 1 because, and he's got it over Bailey Smith because they're both the same reasoning, right? Bailey Smith had, I believe, 43
Yep.
against North.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dacos had 43 and 4 goals against Richmond. So both, same scenario, lots of possessions, really, really big scoring against bad teams. I've given it to Dacos just because he had more goals.
Mm-hmm.
He got more involvement. And Richmond honestly just fought harder. much harder than North did. 2 votes, maybe contentious, Jeremy Cameron. 11-goal performance gets you 2nd place. That's a tough thing to do, but it seems to be a pretty contentious thing, but also a little bit of a agreed upon result. A lot of people have got this person as their best man of the round. I know you'd agree. It's Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera. I mean, there's not much you said it all, basically. That's a performance that cements his history. You hope if he signs on, that's something he can look back on and realise.
I know he has.
You know he's signed on, has he?
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. He's coming.
He's signed
He's
the deal.
coming home.
He's done it. If you saw him partying on Ross Lyon's shoulders, you know he's signed the deal.
But yeah, 11 goals for Cameron to get second place is a tough result. But now we go to Macca's Donkey of the Week. Let me know how you feel. The Donkey of the Week is me. I am the Donkey of the Week.
You really are the Donkey of the Week.
Yeah, this was a picture. Someone who watches my stuff is genetically footy. He goes by Geelong Guy in my Discord. He found me. This was outside of Primo, which is a hot dog stand on level 2. And he called the Jezza 10 goal watch. This was at around halftime. So good night to be a North fan. Not Jezza 10 goals watch. This was a rough night all around. This is like I said, first game I went to in a really long time, and I picked a bloody good one, didn't I?
Did you at least start going for Geelong by the end of it? And
No.
hoping that he kicked like 13?
No, are you kidding me?
Why not?
One, I'd been going on all year about how I wanted to see an 100-point loss. If it happened to my team, I would have been fuming, and I was.
Sure.
Oh,
Who'd
my
you go
God.
with?
I went with Ethan will know him. He's a mate that I work with. He's worked with him before, so he'll know who I'm talking about. But
Did's mate.
yeah, yeah, that's it. Nonetheless, I am the Donkey of the Week. Of course, I picked that game to go to.
Deserved.
And next week, I may get it 2 weeks in a row.
If you guys lose by 100 points 2 weeks in a row, Clarko's getting sacked.
To who exactly?
St Kilda.
Exactly. That's why I did.
Imagine Goodwin gets sacked this week. Naz sacks him, and then next
Naz
week,
sacks him.
and then 100-point belting again this coming week. Naz sacks Clarko. That would be beautiful.
Not looking forward.
Okay, we have a very short one this week. We are starting off with the Stephen May stuff. So obviously at the tribunal, it was argued that 3 weeks was upheld. Not very happy about that one. Very confused as to why. Like, I'm going to read the tribunal notes here, but they've taken it to the AFL board, the AFL Appeals board.
Yep.
And so I believe on Monday night, so tonight, they will finally decide, given May was concussed, so it didn't really affect too much. I am so confused. Apparently, May had only 0.56 seconds from the ball's final bounce until the moment of collision, and that the premiership defender would have needed at least 0.2 to 0.225.
Oh my God.
0.25 seconds to react. So they said he had time to react. However, when you take into account the movement of the ball from the bounce,
I was going to say, I feel like they're
that
counting the
diminishes
wrong
that.
thing.
So by the time that he reads where the ball has bounced, I think is where it should have gone from. So when a ball sits up towards Francis Evans, that's when May should realise, and that's much less time.
I was going to say, I think they should time it off of when he catches the ball.
That's another thing. My way is, what if Stephen May won the ball and still continues to hit and concuss Francis Evans? What would happen in that situation? Because the way May went to go and contest the ball is the exact same as if he would have won the ball. The ball would have been here and he would have continued running like that. That's my argument in terms of saying, what more is Stephen May meant to do here?
I think there's a little bit of personality tax to it as well, right? I think.
Yeah, we know Stephen May is a shit bloke.
Yeah. Stephen May has done stuff like, I mean, the most notorious is his on Stephen Martin back in the Q Clash when Gary Ablett was there. But that comes into play, as well as the fact that a lot of AFL media have argued around it. And one of the interesting ones was Jack Rewalt has just straight up said he does not believe that Stephen May could not have gotten out of the way under any circumstance. He's like, slow down, like brace for a tackle. Don't brace to go through the bloke. But I think that kind of goes against what Stephen May is. And so I think that's why it's a lot of a personality type thing or a play style type thing where he's just a man who goes for the ball. He's not one to do stuff like the only time I've seen him do something completely weak is, do you remember when I think it was George Wardlaw tackled him and he faked the head knock? That's the only time I've ever seen him do something like that. So he's a smart player and he knows how to get away with some of the rules. He can bend it sometimes. This time though, I don't agree with it. I think it looks way too much like a football play for it to be punished. And the reasoning behind the 3 weeks doesn't make all that much sense to me.
The one final thing I want to say about this is if Stephen May pulls back and basically says, okay, if you're going to win the ball first, I'm going to stop in my tracks and then tackle you, we're going to see him as weak and that he pulled out of the contest rather than, actually contesting it. And I'm sure David King would say he's not attacking the ball properly in that situation. What do you want him to do then? Because if he's either attacking the ball and accidentally hits him when he's making a fair attempt at the ball, or if he's pulling out and then not actually making an attempt at the ball, you're going to go at him either way. So for me, I think he gets away with this one.
I reckon he should. Either way, I think, I think he's in hindsight, he should have slowed down.
Yeah. Toby Greene, 1 week suspension for this hit on Isaac Heaney. When we're speaking about flogs, this is the definition for Toby Greene.
Cookson wouldn't be happy about that one.
I have got Toby as a tosser, and it's pretty spot on.
I didn't see that.
He quite literally just says, yeah, Heaney, dog. I'll compare it to this one because this one didn't get a week, which is the Liam Baker incident. This was called to be a week, wasn't. Basically the exact same thing. Intentional, low, high. That results in a week because it's intentional. Somehow this one wasn't graded as a week. Doesn't make sense to me, but Toby Greene deserves a week.
Another personality thing.
He also did it, if you remember last week or 2 weeks ago when they played West Coast and he did to Harley Reid.
Yeah.
Where he literally just went down like that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that one wasn't high contact, but I still think that should have been a week as well. And also, if you remember, Kenny Hinkley got 20K suspension for the comments to Jack Ginnivan. He did get nothing for his comments to Tom Papley at halftime.
Yep.
Do you know what he said?
Something about flaps.
Yeah, so he basically said Tom Papley's looking a bit overweight.
Yeah.
Didn't get a fine for that when Ken Hinkley got it. All I'm going to say is protected species. Bit of a joke, but
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
is that all for Behmy's TT
that's all
this
for
week?
Behmy's TT this
Very
week.
short one, but that's all right.
Speaking of the man in Harley
I
Reid.
know, yeah, good segue. Well done. Harley Reid has a few demands, and I think rightfully so. There's a lot of talent there that cannot be denied.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's the issues, but if you want to keep a man in a place he hasn't grown up in, you have to pay him the big bucks. I've seen it and learned it the hard way, and sometimes even that's not enough, and you're currently watching that happen as well.
JHF.
Shut up. Do not mention that name on this podcast. Nonetheless.
He who shall not be named.
Exactly.
Josh Battle.
Yeah, there's always one for every club. There's one everywhere. But mainly saying the fact that you're seeing that right now with NAS.
Mm-hmm.
West Coast is seeing with Harley in a bit less of a massive circumstances. Harley and the Eagles aren't seeing as much success. Well, not even the Saints are, but like you can see a bit more from NAS than you can from Reid at the moment. So what does that mean? How do you keep the man? Or is his demands too much?
Well, his demands are ridiculous, but that's what the market's shaping up to be.
Exactly.
Because from what I've heard, it's going to be a 2-year deal with a trigger for 9 years. I don't know if it's a 2+7 or if it's a 2+9. I cannot remember which. Could also be a 2+8 because I heard 10 million, 10-year deal.
I had heard over 20 million.
I heard a $22 million deal, which could be 2+9.
Bloody hell.
So literally paying him, not front loading, $2 million a year. Well, at least we don't know if it's front loading or not. We don't know how much salary cap they do have. There are a lot of veterans that potentially they could front load, but if they are, that could be like almost £3 million a year, which would be, shut up, $3 million a year this bloke could be earning, which is ridiculous. But if you're West Coast, you need to do whatever you can to keep him.
Do you think so?
100%.
You're going to be losing a lot in the off-season already, and you're bringing a lot in. So this is a really good chance to have someone to shape your future around, I reckon.
What I'm saying is they're going to have to spend probably another 3 years, at least not making finals, right? They're probably going to lose Allen. They've lost McGovern. Mm-hmm. They've lost Sheed. They potentially could lose Kelly, who'd be on a fair bit of money. They've lost Sheed. I said Sheed. Shuey. They've lost Gaff. They've lost Hearn. They've lost heaps of experienced players who would be on a lot of money.
They lost Darling in the off-season.
Lost Darling.
Although he's not a big one. But
lost
yeah.
Kennedy. That's another one.
This is premiership experience that we're talking about.
These are players who would be on at least 600 or 700K a year. All gone, right? So for them, this has opened up a shit ton of salary cap that they probably just need to pay because you need to pay a minimum every single year.
It's like, what, 95%?
No, you can spend less than 95%, but you've got a 3-year window to be able to do that. So for them, if they do say, let's pay 22 million over 10, 11 years, let's say 2 million a year, they could basically say, hey, we'll do this 2-year deal where we'll pay you 3 million in each and just say, let's get as much money out of the way as possible. And then we can still pay you the same amount, but we'll have less salary cap to be able to pay you where we can pay other people.
Yeah.
To be able to contend, pay a Hewitt, pay a Jinby, pay someone like a Cozzy Pickett if they want to go for them still, or Logan McDonald from Sydney if they want to go for just someone that they can say, hey, we're front loading some of these contracts. We've still got the salary cap to be able to bring you in because they are still a destination club.
Yes.
So if you were West Coast and you were to not pay him, you would lose a talent that will win you multiple flags. And so for them, they have to keep him.
Understood. So it's going to be a contentious topic. I know West Coast fans were very vocal regarding last week when we were talking about the
compo
picks for that one. So this is going to be an interesting one to look at as well, how they see this. I think I agree with you in the sense that this is a building block. I think they would love to have him. There'd be the few would be like, oh, he's too much of a distraction, or oh, he's bringing in too much. But realistically, the way the football landscape is now, you can afford to pay someone this much. If you're seeing teams overpay to this extent for big players like this, it's going to be the new norm.
Yeah.
It's got to be, because it's setting a bar for if you have the talent. Sure, he hasn't gotten the results just yet, but if you have the talent, and you can all see it, and not only that, it just builds a culture of trust around each team. Jason Horne-Francis, I hate bringing up the North stuff over and over again, but it's just when clubs are in this situation, I just think of what North has dealt with. Jason Horne-Francis, a year after being drafted to the club, immediately goes to Port. That has ruined the reputation of them being any type of destination club or any chance of them being able to pick someone outside of Victoria, really, for big bucks. They're going to struggle with that for a very long time if they pick up players like that. So for West Coast to stop this potential problem coming up over and over again, they're already going to see a bit of criticism for Oscar Allen going. But if Harley goes, it just puts a big question mark on I don't want to say integrity, because I don't think it's an integrity thing. I just think it's a legitimacy type thing. Do they see them as a legitimate force in the future? If a young player like that leaves so early, that answers it. So for West Coast's sake, he signs on big, and they build around him.
If in 2 years' time, at the end of that 2-year extension, he still wants to go, you get a shit ton back for him.
Exactly. So while he may not be the most informed type of player at the moment, we want to go on a little bit of a chat in regards to who we think are the most informed players in the comp right now, purely because this week produced so many fantastic performances, individual performances, as well as your team's performance, the occasional team performance here and there. But I know who you're going to tell me who's the most informed player. So I want to start this one.
Okay.
I want to start this one. It depends, and I'm going to start it off like this. It depends purely on what you think is the most important thing, is the most important form in whether it's your forward line in good form, whether it's you need a good midfield and your midfield's carrying your team to success, all that type of stuff purely depends on, I guess, how successful your play has made your team. And for me, I'm leaning, and I hate to say it, I'm leaning towards Nick Dacos. I know it's a bit contentious because of the fact that you've got players bursting out like NAS. You've got Jeremy Cameron, who's just kicked 11. And Cameron was going to be one of my next picks because he's been on a tear this year, a tear from a forward we haven't seen in what feels like a good while. We had the year where we had 3 70-plus goal kickers, but Cameron is 20 ahead of the next one and could potentially hit 80, even 90. 90 would be insane for this current day and age. But Nick Dacos, for the best team, while his team may not be in the best form, they're still top of the table, despite the 2 losses, and throughout the entire season has still been one of the best players all season. He is up for Brownlow. He's not 100% there, but he's put up a couple of 40-pluses as of recent. He's been effective on the goal scoring end. He's silky smooth when moving through the midfield, and his efficiency, he's one of the best kicks in the game.
My question is, are we ranking this based off of the body of work that they've done, including this season, or simply based off of how good have they been this season?
For me, I've just been doing how good they've been this season.
I don't think you can argue Nick Dacos has been the best player this season.
Understood, but then I feel like that argument just comes down to who's going to win the Brownlow.
Arguably, no, because this is the entire thing. If it was just awarded to the best player, Bont would have won it 5 times.
Yep.
But it's not. The Brownlow is about how good you are in comparison to your team, and when you win, can you be the best player?
Yeah.
And
Can you
when
be the most impactful?
Right? So it's very much Bontempelli. He's got a lot of people who are polling votes, but also the Bulldogs have never been a top 4 team. So they're never going to be at the tippity top. Lockie Neal, Josh Dunkley's not a vote getter. Hugh McCluggage hadn't been a vote getter. Cam Rayner was never a vote getter. Who else is getting the votes? Ollie Wines. Who else was getting the votes in 2021? So for that, there's no one else taking it. Paddy Cripps last year, no one was.
Who do you think in Collingwood's taking votes
So-
from Nick Dacos?
That's why he got 38 votes last year. My point is, I don't think Dacos within the first 12 weeks had been anywhere near his best. So
Okay.
when we're talking about last 8 weeks, sure, been fantastic. First 12 weeks, disagree. I think Noah Anderson has an absolute case for this year.
Very good shout.
I think he could very well be leading the Brownlow medal. I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Rowell was up there too, because those two together this year have been phenomenal. I think Ed Richards has had a great year. I'm sticking with Noah Anderson. I think he's had the best year so far. Bont is polling insanely well and will continue to do so for the rest of his career. But those first 6 weeks that he missed could come back to haunt him potentially, which is a bit of an issue.
I want to lower it a little bit now, though.
Okay.
Last 6 weeks. Because I want you to say a name. I know you want to say a name. And I'm almost tempted to agree with you. Like, his move to midfield has been a massive move for him.
Yep.
I think it's a bit of a St Kilda bargaining type chip. You know, look, you're getting midfield minutes in this squad and you're seeing some at least fantastic end game results and stat lines. But for the sake of you, I guess, Nas in the last 6 weeks, I think is pretty unanimously one of the best. Very least the last month.
Yeah.
He has been on a tear.
Let me get up his stats over
And
the
that's
last month.
also mentioning the likes of Noah Anderson, Jeremy Cameron, really
He's
just
up there.
last week.
He's up there, though. Like, Jeremy Cameron has been phenomenal.
I think after the GWS game, because the GWS game, I think he got held to 1 goal, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe it was against St Kilda, actually.
No, he kicked 5, but they were all just
because I remember you
got
saying
handballs.
Jeremy Cameron kept killing you, but I think someone said that Jeremy Cameron usually kills us.
So we
Either
got-
way, GWS didn't play well. From
bit
there
painful.
on, Cameron has been playing great football. But in the last 6 weeks, Nas has probably the best case. But Noah Anderson is a fantastic shot. I was really waiting for you to say Nas just because of his game recently, but Noah Anderson, it's just gold. The fact that he plays for Gold Coast is the reason we keep forgetting about him.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I mean, if Nick Dacos played for Collingwood, he'd be seen as better than Dacos.
You said Dacos twice there, mate.
If Nas was playing for Collingwood, he'd be better than Dacos.
There's a
Am I
good
going
chance.
insane?
There's a good chance.
I
think it's also situational.
Yeah.
Collingwood have been great.
Yeah, 35 touches, 600 metres gained against Collingwood. He had 28 and a goal against Fremantle, including almost 800 metres gained. Hawthorn, he played 1 quarter in the midfield and got 15 touches in that quarter. He had, 43 touches and 3 behind in that game against Hawthorn. The next best disposal getter was 27. So he had
So
one and a half.
of the ball.
So had 1.5 times that. Sydney, this was his not full-time mid, but played about half in the midfield. He had, what did he have? I think this was a slightly quiet game because James Jordan went to him. He had 24 touches, still 700 metres gained.
Which is decent against James Jordan because he held Sarong to, I think, 8.
Yep. Geelong last week, first full-time midfield game, and he was ridiculous last week. What did he have? He had 36 touches, 2 goals, 640 metres gained, 10 clearances.
Yep.
As your first full-time midfield game. And then obviously this week, 34 touches,
4 goals.
4 goals, 2 in the final 8 seconds of the game. 4 goals, 1 as well. He almost had Isaac Heaney level performance.
Yeah.
750. This bloke is in serious form.
He's not in Brownlow territory, though. I'm sorry. He's not in Brownlow territory.
He's not right now. He's probably on about max 17 votes at absolute max. However, he's got North, Essendon, and Richmond in his next 3 games. If polls denied votes in those, he's in Brownlow contention.
I guess so, yeah. When you put it like that, absolutely. Yeah, no, he's right up there.
I have put money on him to win the Brownlow.
Of course you have. Of course you bloody have. Oh, my God. The thing is, a bit of a Northy nerd thing. I have a Nick Dacos card that could earn me some serious money if he wins the Brownlow too. So maybe that influences my decision to Nick Dacos a little bit.
I've got
I think
something
Dacos has had some seriously good form as of recent, but the Noah Anderson shit, I keep forgetting about that. He's been so good. Potential All-Australian captain has been the murmurs too, but really nice discussion, that one. Most informed player is tough to really see without going such recency bias mode.
Yeah. Could Levi Ashcroft still win the Rising Star?
That's it. That's becoming more of a close one.
Okay,
I've always loved Connor O'Sullivan.
I was a big fan of him. Kern's come with an absolute bolt in the last 8 weeks. Murphy Reid's just been super consistent all year.
Yep.
And Levi Ashcroft, only question is how much role does he have in comparison to the other two? Is the only question that how much importance does he have? But yeah, Noah Anderson, clear number 1 player this season.
Clear number 1.
Oh, not clear, but you know.
He's up there.
Nas is pretty close.
He's up there. Shit. All right, we get it. You like Nas.
I like him.
Go to your next segment, all right? Because I have no clue what you're talking about with this one.
The rumour mills.
Oh, God, we're going to get in trouble.
I really hope we don't. I don't want to get sent a season.
We have zero access, remember. We've got zero access.
This was something that I just randomly thought of when speaking to someone about
my God,
the
this
fixturing.
is an awful setup.
So, Essendon obviously have been talked about a lot with their primetime fixturing this year. Obviously, also had the CBAs and the broadcast deals recently, where Foxtel got the streaming rights and Seven only got 3 games a week, which were the Friday night, the Thursday night, and then also the Sunday Arvo game. No Saturdays. Essendon have been a lot in the media about how many primetime games they've had. I'm of the belief that instead of the AFL fixturing all these games, it is the broadcasters who are doing it, and specifically the Fox broadcasters. So if you are a KO or a Foxtel member, you have the ability to put on channel 503 or 504, or just switch streams, I suppose, to either of the Friday night games, as they've had 2 in the last few weeks. If you are not, if you're a free-to-air watcher and you watch on Channel 7, you only get the right to 1 game to be able to watch. That is the Essendon game, basically, every single week, aside from one random Saturday night and round 24, which I'll probably get because they play Gold Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So for Fox, they are saying, put Essendon on, put a really bad team on every single week, because for us, it doesn't affect us which team is on the prime time slot. You can just switch to another game. For example, did you want to watch the Sydney Derby? Just switch it to that game. There's no need to be able to pay us, unless you obviously have free to air, in which case you can only watch the 1 game allocated. So, instead of the AFL fixturing, it is Fox. That is my rumour mill. Fox has corrupted the AFL to the point where...
Allegedly. Say allegedly, please.
It's part of the rumour mills. It's just a rumour.
It's not a rumour, it's a conspiracy.
It's just a rumour. It's just a rumour.
It's a conspiracy.
It's a rumour.
It's a rumour built on nothing.
Is there anything that I've said wrong?
Oh my God. My phone has been... Yeah, it's Ethan getting really upset with Behmy's rumour mill. Oh my God. Look, the thing is, right, the reason behind it all is fine. But I'd like to also mention that there have been Essendon fans saying they don't want Thursday nights anymore. This was...
And that comes into play with Fox how?
This is more them lobbying to remove themselves from Thursday night.
Yeah, and why do you think it hasn't happened? Because the AFL don't have a say in the matter.
Fair enough,
Allegedly.
I guess, but like... I feel like it's such an outrageous thing to say that we're giving the broadcaster the rights to that, because does the AFL...
That's how it works.
What?
That's how it works.
Do the
So
broadcasters-
he's getting messy at me for what I'm saying, but then he's agreeing with me. I don't get that.
I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
You think it's 100?
You've got a microphone producer.
Oh, yeah, true.
I'm really confused. I'm trying to. Who do you agree with? Do you
Both
agree
of
with
you.
with me
Kind of.
in the sense that it's just so outrageous, or that it's got a
No,
little
no.
bit?
The broadcasters do set the games. They're the paying people.
Yeah, I
So if
guess.
who they want to.
So
see
you're
is who they
agreeing
wanna
with
see.
Behm.
Yeah, partially. Yeah,
So you.
but he's just saying obvious statements, so it's funny.
Okay, fair enough.
No one has talked about this though, so it's not that obvious.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess so. I thought it was a legitimate just rumor because you've written it here as conspiracy theory.
Yeah, well, that's just because it's funny.
He's dramatizing it, but yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't know this. Oh my god, I've been set up big time here. I look like
I
a
didn't even
knob.
speak to Ethan about this. He
I
just
look like a
brought
knob
in.
going like, no, they don't though.
Don't
Yeah, well, it just feels very strange. Like, I get what they're saying, that if they have control, if Fox Footy has control over it specifically, then of course they're going to prioritize it in their way. Of course.
I'm just providing answers to people who want to know why Essendon have so many primetime fixtures.
Fair enough, I guess. Just
I-
don't call it a conspiracy. Just go and
I'm
explain
calling it a
it.
conspiracy because I've got zero access. I don't know if this is true or not. Hence why it's called a rumor.
Don't bring up zero access at this point. Look, now that we've gone and embarrassed myself in front of an audience of 100, two, it's going to be my mum. I love you, mum. We're going to go to round 21 and have a look at our games for that one.
Shout out Rex's mummy.
Don't call her that. You're a freak. We're going to have a look at round 21.
No,
And what?
no.
Shut up. Thursday night at Marvel, Dogs versus Giants. Going to be a good one. Surprisingly, Dogs are favourites.
Really?
Yeah.
Putting money on GWS right now.
I was legitimately going, yeah, I may do that one.
The Dogs cannot beat a good team.
Yeah. You'd think that off of just purely looking at how they've gone against top 8 sides, you'd be like, all right, GWS could probably win this one. But like at Marvel, is that why they've picked the Dogs?
I mean, even still, like Darcy, this is probably the best matchup in Sam Taylor. Norton's going to have to go against probably Leakalia, I'd assume, which isn't great. But
I'm
Future State,
interested for how Darcy's going to go up against Taylor. How do you reckon that'll go?
it's going to be really interesting because Taylor is the best matchup for him. And in terms of like athleticism, he matches him in every way. And so whether Darcy gets bullshit free kicks or not is going to be the answer.
Yeah, maybe a free kick Dogs night. Who knows? There's always potential for it.
It happens all
But
the time.
if the Dogs win this, then I think this is a do or die for the Dogs. If they don't win this, then they're even
miss
further out.
finals.
They're even further out of the finals.
They
Exactly.
literally miss finals.
They
if
have
lose.
to win this one.
So
Will it
elimination
put
final.
GWS in a scary spot though? No, it doesn't look like it. They'll still be a game clear of the Dogs if they lose this one. It's more scary for Gold Coast because Gold Coast, look, they play Richmond, so they probably should win this one. But this is just a week. They need to win this one because they are 100% in the back seat.
Yep.
Freo play Carlton. Gold Coast play Richmond. Those are two teams that are above them, and they both look like pretty easy wins unless something outrageous happens. The Dogs have to win this.
Yep.
This is their moment. So we'll see how it goes. For the sake of a bit of excitement, I said it with the Fremantle-Collingwood one. I'm going to say it for this one. I'm going the Dogs. They're going to win it. What did I say last time? I said 4 points. We'll go 4 points again because it seemed to be a pretty nice pick. But
I like
I
it.
don't think they're favourites. I really don't. I think GWS should win this one.
I don't think GWS should win this one. I think GWS probably will win this one. However, the more I think about it, the more I start leaning towards the Dogs that little bit more because of this midfield that I just don't, because the Dogs can't defend. And against this tsunami, we saw what Sydney can do. So to me, a lot of things are leaning more towards Giants. But the more I think about it, the more I think Bulldogs just have a chance. Stick with Giants. I'll go by 15.
I think Giants are probably a smarter pick.
Yeah, I don't mind the tip of the Dogs. I would love to see them
Be
win
close.
this.
Just be
Yeah,
close. Crows versus Hawks now, though, at Adelaide Oval.
Love
This
this
is
game.
going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So second place versus fifth place currently. Remember when I mentioned Hawks were a top 4 lock? That was a great time.
They could miss the 8.
Is the one that other people consider to be the 9th place team, funny enough. And it makes sense because their run home is kind of rough and it starts with a game against a very informed Crows side. There's a lot of arguments to be made that Crows could blow them out. But you'd hope Will Day shows up a bit more than he did in the most recent game against Carlton.
Oh, it was his first game back. Give him a break.
Yeah, that's fair.
If Hawthorn lose this, and they've got Collingwood and Brisbane out of their next 2 out of 3, they're going to lose and miss finals.
100%.
And given the investment they've spent in this squad, I think that'd be a huge disappointment.
It's going to be a huge disappointment for whoever misses the night.
It's very similar to me in terms of the Dogs-Giants game. I tip Crows, but the more I think about it, the more I think Hawthorn can come out and win. Because when we're talking about direct ball use, that's what Hawthorn can do. Sicily came back a couple of weeks ago and looked good. Their backline's now starting to work really well. So when you're talking about those 3 key forwards, arguably the best matchup for them.
I'm saying Crows. They're good on both sides at the moment. They've had rises as well throughout the midfield, like shout out Saligo. I think I mentioned him in the review of last round. I again hope it's close. You always hope with these big weekday matchups, they go off. I'm going to say Crows take this one by 10.
I'm going the upset here. I think Hawks are just a bit too quick for the Crows in this one, and they'll be able to sneak past by 9 points.
Beautiful. I like that we're both going each side for the first 2. This is going to really shape how these two are really going to shape how the finals look.
Yeah, these are the 2 games this week, aside from Brisbane, Collingwood.
Exactly. But before we get there, Saturday at Marvel, Dees versus Eagles, a bit of a nothing game.
Staying first.
Let's get through it quickly. Dees definitely going to feel poor for the sake of Simon Goodwin's job if it isn't already gone. I think the Dees win this one, but by 20. I think the Eagles can show form every now and then, but they always disappoint
Eagles
this year.
need to win this one.
The only one they haven't disappointed was St Kilda. The lows of that game versus the highs of this week for you shows the Saints' kind of year so far. But for the Eagles, they've never shown true signs of being anything more than a bottom dweller.
Eagles win by a point. Melbourne lose 2 close ones in a row.
That'd suck for them.
I think they sack Goodwin at the end of this week.
Oh my God, that's a big, big call.
Bye-bye.
Suns v Tigers, the Hardwick Cup, I guess.
Yep. Is this even close?
I don't think it's going to be close, but I don't think it's going to be blowout, like North Geelong blowout. I'm thinking Tigers.
That's a bad one. That's the biggest margin of the year.
Exactly. Thanks for that.
Suns by 72.
I'm going to take the Suns. Look, Tigers fight. I'm going to take Suns by 50. 50. Suns v Bombers is another one that's unfortunately going to be a big one. It's at the SCG. Bombers are, putrid, not because of their own choices. Putrid because they are walking injuries.
Yep.
I think
Could
it's
they
going to be...
steal it?
No.
You don't think?
Bombers will not steal it. They don't have the experience nor the capacity to do it. They've got the few players who can bring a bit of Ridley, Merritt, McGrath, like the few ones. Peter Wright, maybe. Peter Wright, like, even he struggled like big time against the Dogs.
Just given the loss last week, I'm going to go the upset on this one.
Really?
I think it's just such a gut-wrenching loss to be up by so much and then to just get pants like that. I think that ruins a change room. That's so demoralizing. So I think the Bombers, if they want to win another game, this is the one that they'd go, hey, we can win this. So I'm going the upset.
If they believe that their season's over, which honestly internally they'll probably be telling themselves, look, season's not over, we've got to fight really hard. But there'll be the doubts. This will be the make or break 100%, but it's at 99 right now. So I'm still going to tip Swans. I just do not see a world where the Bombers take it. I'm going to say the Swans take it by 40.
I'm going to go Bombers by 421.
Oh, I'd say it'd be really close if Bombers won it. But finally, we get to the matchup we really want to see.
The rip snorter of the week.
The rip snorter of the week.
I'm going to this game. There was no general
You're
admin
going to the
tickets.
next 2 games.
I am. There was no general admin to this general admission tickets for this game. I had to go with someone who had AFL membership. And even
Jesus.
still, there was like 30 tickets left. They were all like, I'm not going to say it.
Awesome. Thanks for that story. Pies versus Lions.
Yeah.
Matchup. Well, I think Pies' form as a team has been a bit on the lower side of things. I think their best has looked so good against some teams.
Yep.
And I still believe that their best is the best that I've seen all season. But the Lions have been a bit more consistent. outside of last week. I think it's going to be a close result.
Good.
That's all I can really say confirmed, like 100%. It's just about who you think's going to who's going to win the matchups, right? You look inside, and there are a lot of people who could stop Dacos. I think there's a lot of potential.
I think it's Berry. I think Berry's the one who goes to him.
Berry could absolutely take him. And then you look on the other side, the other performers. McCluggage has done pretty well throughout the year. Dunkley has a role that he fills really well. Lachie Neale, he doesn't always get the highest possession count, but he's very effective and a great leader. You look in their back line, it's depleted for Brisbane, but it's still doing numbers. Of course, led by Harris Andrews, which is great. And you look at their forward line, and their small targets are really the dangerous ones. And who are their defenders? Bruz is one of their defenders. Darcy Moore. A lot of those.
No, you don't call him Bruz.
He could have gone in North. Look, that's the only reason I call him that, in hopes that maybe he takes back his decision.
What? You just got whacked by 100 points.
Maybe he can come help. I don't know. Be part of something. Be the biggest turnaround ever.
Funny.
Lions versus Pies. I'm going to say the Lions take it by 3.
Whoa, I love that. I am going with a Carlton fan. So if you think I'm going for Carlton,
He's just going to be happy seeing good football.
Yeah.
It's like if you were going with me.
I am going with you, but not to this
Yeah,
game.
not to this one.
Ooh, this one's really good.
We've got the first
hang on.
official...
Lions by 5. But yes.
The first official ZAF Cup. I'm very excited for this one. Do we make a little cup to bring as well? Whoever wins it gets the cup. And whoever wins gets to keep the cup. Nice.
Yep.
So I hope you've made a nice place in your trophy cabinet for that cup, because, I mean, St Kilda definitely has a lot of space for it. That's all.
Have you been to RSC? Have you seen where we put our premiership cup? Have you?
No, I haven't. But, oh my God, I could only
We've
imagine.
just got a glass pane. It's not on the, because we've got two long shelves. It's not on the shelves. It's just in a little glass box it's so sad. It's so
just
sad.
the long glass box that just has TBC written on it for all the other ones.
TDK.
TDK, yeah. TDK signing. Get the contract, just frame it inside there.
Oh, because you know how all the Saints
No, it'll
boys
be the
went to,
NAS one. You better do it with the NAS
you
one.
know how all the Saints boys went to a hotel in Batley?
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought the cup with them.
Jesus. Your team is so sad. But somehow
You're
my
a
team...
North Melbourne supporter.
But I wasn't done. I was going to say my team is somehow sadder.
Yep.
For principle, I have to go North Melbourne win this one. I'm saying North Melbourne win this one by 15.
15.
But that's not a confident pick. There's nowhere near. It is purely out of principle. It has to be.
If Larky's back, you guys win.
So you
But
do not believe
we
that.
quite literally have been celebrating like we won a grand final. So if we think we're going to be able to get up and perform for this weekend is ridiculous. We're going to get whacked, I think. I think you guys win by 31.
The only way it happens is if North make massive... Do not bring that team out that came to Geelong. That
Please.
team... Zach Bench, thank you for trying. Thank you so much for trying. Have a bit more time in the VFL, please.
Bring back Zach Fisher. Bring
No.
back Zach Fisher.
The literal nothing stats guy. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
You got Caleb Daniel. He can't be worse.
Yeah,
than
no, Caleb Daniel, to be fair, is a good shout. He has not had some great games as of late. I'm just trying to think who really has. Zerha, great form. He's been one that I've loved. Cooper Harvey, bring him back. He's been putting some great effort in. 4 goals against, I think it was... I can't even remember who it was. He kicked 4 against someone. I can't remember. Why can't I remember this one?
I don't know.
Either way, kept followed up with 2 goals. Decent form considering North's forward line is often just Larky and Zerha. And Curtis, sorry. Can't disrespect Paul Curtis.
Oh, Curtis!
Fantastic season. Yeah, exactly. That was a good meme, that one. I'm hearing producer Ethan loves that meme. He loves it so much. But
I'm laughing at you.
Shut up! Shut up! No one likes you. No one likes you. Oh my God, producer Ethan, you are the worst. Roos win this one. He's muted my mic. I can hear it. Roos win this one by 15. Who have you got?
I told you Roos by 31. But stay tuned for a Zaf vlog.
Yes,
for
I
this
can't
one.
wait for Zaf
It's
vlog.
gonna be so good.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
We don't know where we're gonna sit. Chances are they're gonna go level of 3 is blocked off because of general admin. at least the broadcast side will always be blocked off so that you can't see. There's no one there.
Yeah, exactly. You'll probably
Or-
hear you and I cheering.
Or we sit in my member seats, but I don't know if we've got enough for that. Look at me.
My member seat, my
But
member seat.
if that's the case, I don't want to do the cheers on camera. That's the only thing.
Oh, man. I can't wait to see that. Cats versus Port. Do I need to say much?
How bad? Is
GMHBA
really bad.
as well. Oh. Port don't have much to really be excited about.
How many is Cameron kicking?
Oh, that's a beautiful game to play. Their back line's better than North. The
Not
whole
by
team's
much.
better than North.
Not by much.
7.
Cameron kicks 9.
Oh my God. You reckon he gets to 78? 78. If he kicks 9, 78 is such a good place to be at going into the next 3. 3 more games. He needs 22.
He needs 22 when he plays Essendon and Richmond.
Oh my God.
Given the way he's getting the goals.
He's got to thank the AFL scheduling. He's got to he's got to sign on the Coleman medal. That entire moment has to be like.
Thank you, Fox Footy.
This
Thank
has
you,
been
Fox
brought,
Footy.
brought to you by Fox Footy.
And if he, it's ridiculous.
if he's kicking that many goals, I think it's going to be Cats by 50 plus. I'm going to go
Yeah.
55.
I'll go Cats by 81.
Yeah, that's probably, look. If he gets that many goals, it's probably going to be that. But then we go Dockers Blues.
Yeah.
This is just going to be a bit of another light
Danger
warm up.
game.
Another light warm up. Danger game.
Danger game.
Maybe. I don't know.
Just simply the fact that don't get too ahead of yourselves. Blues can continue to fight. They might start off really slow, but they won't stop.
I think
have
it's
they-
the opposite. If the Blues go behind early, they will stop. They pretty much have every time.
Nah.
Except last week, really. But even then, I'd argue they still did.
Don't get it too ahead of yourselves, Dockers.
Yeah. I mean, that is a general
the
good
only
rule.
thing.
That's a general good rule. But
I'll go Dockers by 31.
I'm going to go
32.
Dockers by 40. 40 for the Dockers. But
Curtis.
that is another fantastic episode of Zero Access Footy. And we'll see you very sooner rather than later for what is going to be a fantastic little Zaff vlog for that Saints vs Roos game. The first ever Zaff Cup. Again, we'll be doing our best to capture as many of our reactions as possible. I don't know what it'll end up looking like, but
No idea.
stay tuned for it. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video and podcast. Be sure to follow us over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those others that we hang out on. And be sure to subscribe to the channel as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, it would be greatly appreciated. So thank you again for tuning in. Thank you again, Ben, for joining me. And I'll see you all in the next one. Catch you later.